Hello everyone, welcome back to the DOU, the Duchess of Unicorn YouTube channel. And thank you for the 2,098 subscribers. Appreciate it so much, appreciate it so much. And welcome if you're new here. And if you're new here, this is the channel where I discuss everything Meghan Markle, Prince Harry. Now I like to call them ex-royals, what you want to call them. But anybody who walks away from a position in the royal family, there is some heavy stuff going on, whether it's on the part of the British royals or the part of Meghan Markle. That is what we're trying to discover at this channel right now. But celebrity, royalty, pop life, alt news is what you'll find here. Majority of my videos are now about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry and this baby, this imaginary baby, Archie. So if you are new here, subscribe. I invite you to. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much. I appreciate you tuning in to my channel, because those of us who feel we give constructive criticism or criticism on Meghan Markle don't really get the kudos or the pat on the back or the understanding that we think we should, because for us, we see things that she's doing or things playing out in the media are so obviously marketing and press to uplift her name and who she is within the media, and that becomes clout. And she did that by marrying into the royal family. Now that's the part that we analyze a lot and we try to look at and delve deeper. Is this legitimate, or is this some type of conspiracy or some type of plan, that agreement, if you will? And so that's kind of what we look at here. And with that, it becomes a very deep rabbit hole, because you and I both know underneath it all, there's a lot of things that are suspect. And eventually it will come out, especially since we understand that there's a lot of hush hush around being Hollywood people being detained and being arrested, and in some cases people being executed. Now, a lot of people don't want to hear that. I have an article here that I just want to touch upon as we continue this brief conversation on this. We're at 5:21 right now in minutes, so I want this to be a short video, but it can be hard to look at the clock and try to bring you legitimate synopsis of what I believe is going on, and that's so that you can come back at me with what you think is going on, and or agree and or not agree. Okay, so Meghan in this article here with Gossip Cop talks a lot about Meghan's birthday party. She's supposed to be planning a huge party. None of us think why she'd be planning a huge birthday party unless it's a certain milestone. So I don't know about you, but we celebrate birthdays, but don't you really go all out or bigger than you normally would? Let's say you might take a cruise, or you might have a special dinner. If you're a person who doesn't really go crazy over birthdays, but celebrates them. So in this case, Meghan's going to spend $200,000 on a birthday party, and it's not a milestone. Well, personally, I think if she's going to do something like this, I think it's a milestone. And to me, it could be a 45-year-old milestone. It could be a 40-year-old milestone. I don't necessarily believe that she's 39. Now, that's not because I don't like her, but that's just because if you look at different reports in the media, you'll know, and I'm not going to refer to them on here, but you know that you've seen it too. She's, graduating in a certain year, and people do the math, and the math comes out that she should be over 40, well over 40 at this time. And you'll see people often saying that. So I looked at this article and I was reading it, and it's Gossip Cop is trying to get to the bottom of why, if this is true or not. But I more or less look at some of the things that I see in here, like they refer in this article that Meghan might be spending it with George Clooney, Oprah Winfrey, and these type of people, but not Idris Elba, but that she'd be spending it. It was also on ET, the news station, the I guess gossipy news station here in the United States, ET, Entertainment Tonight, and said that she was going to possibly perhaps be spending it with Oprah Winfrey. And I laughed so hard because they will just name drop And as you know, I don't know for sure if you know, but have you heard in the past, just a few months ago, that Liza Minnelli was mentioned as supposedly spending time with Meghan and Harry? Uh, and Liza Minnelli came on and made a statement saying she's never even met with them ever, has not spent any time with them ever. And so when they name drop, it's hilarious. And to name drop Oprah Winfrey, considering that Oprah Winfrey is supposedly being detained and or her house was raided in, I believe it was Florida. Her house was raided. So when you hear news like that, and you think that's unusual news that Oprah Winfrey's house would be raided, and you can probably see that here if I put that clip up, that article states that her house was raided, but she definitely says it's not true. Of course she's going to say it's not true. What else would you say? You're only guilty when you're proven guilty, right? But yet we're seeing that in this article, somehow they're name dropping Oprah Winfrey and George Clooney, Idris Elba, such on and so forth. And I've actually read that Idris Elba and his girlfriend were arrested. So I don't know about you, but this starts to look like a thing. And how does it look like a thing? Well, if we look back at the wedding, and we know Meghan Markle was a B actress who not once spent any airtime or FaceTime in front of any camera in the same room as Idris Elba, Oprah Winfrey, or George Clooney. However, we do know that George Clooney and Obama have been seen in the same images, and they are online. If I can find that image, I'll certainly insert it here. But we know that Oprah and Idris Elba were at the wedding. So why have these people been included in the wedding if they're not part of some global club or membership of some other worldly thing that you and I, first of all, don't want to be part of, and secondarily, weren't invited to? Because the common folks aren't invited. I get the feeling that you're invited to these type of things when you do dirty deeds. So, for instance, humor me and my ideas and views and opinions, which is part of this channel, is what I do here. I share my thoughts, opinions, and views on what I think is happening beneath the surface of what we're reading in the media. So we see Idris Elba, George Clooney, Amal Clooney, and Oprah Winfrey, just a few at the wedding. But we know that never in Meghan's history has she ever been in the front of a camera, pictured or video with either or any of these celebrities. But we somehow see that they were invited to the wedding. So just because you're the Prince of Britain doesn't mean you know every single celebrity that there is. But here's what I've noticed. Anyone associated with the prince or anyone associated with Meghan, which is probably much, much, much tinier section of people, like her mother and her handful of old friends that were in the pews, which were like 3, were at the wedding. But Prince Harry's family and friends filled up the church. And we see that maybe he has, run into George Clooney, maybe not, but we definitely know he's associated with Oprah. And so, having all this happen and being invited, we saw that Oprah practically broke her legs to buy a dress at the last minute to go to this wedding. So, I feel like it's some type of club. Now, you notice that Beyonce was not at that particular, she wasn't at the wedding. Beyonce. Maybe she knows that she's better or in a different club, if you will, and it isn't this club. So maybe this club, to me, is a group of people who have done dirty deeds. That's just me. Look into it yourself. Take every single name that you've seen advertised and look their names up on Twitter. Use hashtags. Look up online and see what you come up with on George Clooney. Images of George Clooney and Barack Obama on a boat. Look that up. Look at George Clooney arrested. Look at Obama arrested. Things like that, and see what comes up. So you'll be surprised. And then look at Oprah, and look at Oprah falling on stage by, it looked like she was pushed by an imaginary hand. And she's like, "Ooh," look that up. And then, of course, look up Oprah and being arrested, her house raided. And when you see things reported, people don't want to report. The news is not in the business per se of reporting false things. They want to report things that are the truth, or related to the truth in some way. So they never want to put something out there that they're going to get sued for because it's untrue and they can't prove it. If they do that, then they would be out of business. Essentially, they wouldn't have any insurance because nobody would insure them. So when you look at lawsuits, who wants to have them, especially when you're talking about your business and you know that it's a lie, you probability would find ways that can make what you're writing about more truthful. And so you would not exclude truth in your article. So I wanted you to think about that in terms of people saying that there's no proof that Oprah's house is raided. Why? Because we're not going to be able to see those things in the everyday paper, because a lot of the people that do these crimes and are involved with these things, until they get unmanageably big, they aren't reported about, because the venues in which they would be reported about are owned by only a handful of conglomerates, and they are all in the same membership. So it wouldn't behoove them to report on their own people. All right, I want to end there, and I may continue this in another video, but I wanted you to see that I don't really necessarily believe that Meghan's holding a $200,000 party because she's turning 39, because she's probably turning 40 if she is having a party, or 45, and those would be more milestone type of things. I know 50 is too, but I'm just saying, and I don't think Meghan has the money unless someone else is holding a party for her and she's showing up, and that's the way that goes. But she doesn't have $200,000 to throw a party for herself. In fact, and my understanding is Meghan just donated $10,000, a measly $10,000, to an organization to help people. And that's the first time we've ever heard her donate any substantial amount of money. I think I was speaking about that last year, how she implored other people to donate, but her herself did not donate $1 to any of these organizations. She just showed her face and lent her name. And she wouldn't have a name to lend if it wasn't for marrying to Prince Harry and marrying into the British royals. So she borrowed that clout on Prince Harry. So basically, I don't really buy into this $200,000 party. I don't buy that Oprah's coming. If there is a party, it's because it's a membership only party. And the membership is basically, in my opinion, that you are a person that we know that has been tried and true to commit certain things, and to execute certain things in the media or in your life, that we believe, meaning the club believes, that you are worthy of belonging, some type of initiation, some type of proof that you are, rock hard, tough, etc., etc., etc. So I will leave this with you, and I will see you in the next video. Please leave your comments. Let me know your thoughts. Am I making any sense to you? Do you get what I'm saying, where I'm going with this? I firmly believe this is false. If she doesn't have $200,000 to spend, and by God, if she spent $200,000, she should show a check for $200,000 to the people of the UK, who she stole, in my opinion, blindly ripped them off for Frogmore Cottage and all the other stuff. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.